In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about a shoot I recently did in the studio. If you guys have been following this channel for a long while, then you'll know that studio photography is something that I have not always enjoyed and I've not always found my feet in. I've spoken a lot on this channel about how I find studio photography really difficult because I'm someone that learns from trial and error, from making mistakes, from playing around, from experimenting. When it comes to studio photography and studio lighting, it can be difficult to get that much practice in if you don't have access to a studio, if you don't have access to your own lights, and you're having to hire out studios. So it's something that has taken me a really long time to find my feet in, and is also a reason why I enjoy making videos on YouTube about studio lighting. Hopefully it will help someone kind of shortcut all of those mistakes and all of that money spent in the studio, renting things out and trying things out, if they can learn from my mistakes and they can learn from things that went well. So in today's video, I just want to talk about a really simple setup that I was using in two different ways within the studio recently with model July 7, who has been on this channel so many times. I'll link other videos we've done in the description. The most recent one I did with him also used studio lighting, so if you are interested in this sort of video, you can check that out. But this one technique that I was using in the studio was using multiple lights, RGB lights, to create different effects. I used the same technique in two different ways, and the setup looked a bit like this. We had a strobe, an overhead strobe on a C stand pointing down with a beauty dish, and this beauty dish from above was going to create really harsh shadows on July's face and body and clothing, but it also created a really nice kind of circular pattern on the back of the cove that we were shooting in. That was my key light. And then for the other fill lights, I used RGB continuous lighting. The Nanlite Forza 60C that I've spoken about on this channel before, that was behind July, lighting the top of the cove, bouncing the RGB light from the top of the cove back down into the room. I think that was set to like a red or an orange. And then I had two RGB panels. So we had, they're not panels, they're kind of like strip lights. I've spoken about them before on this channel as well. They're called Siri bendable lights. I have two of them. So I had one on one side of July and one on the other side. You can change what color lights they are to create different, kick lights, side lighting. And we shot this in two different ways. We shot this with the strobe as a strobe using flash and creating that really harsh light that meant that I could manipulate it a lot in post when it came to digital photography. But I also used it on a modeling mode, shooting it with film and with Polaroid film, using the new Polaroid i2, which I've also got a series on this channel about if you're interested in learning more about it. And one of the fun things that we did when using the light as a modeling light, obviously continuous light is not as strong as strobes. So for that to really take effect, we needed to bring the light a lot closer to July, but to the point that it was in frame. And so we utilized it as a prop, as an added element to the photos. And these photos that we shot using this one lighting setup in two different ways are some of my favorite photos that I've taken in the studio in a really long time. And whilst I used 4 different lights to shoot this, and of course that's not really a very accessible setup, it is a really simple setup, and you could subtract lights from this scenario and have like a similar effect. For example, we did do it without the light flushing the cove, so we just had the 2 Siri lights either side of July and then the modeling light on the beauty dish. So that's a 3 light setup. You could then take away one of the kick lights, of course, and just have one RGB light. There's so many different ways which you could adapt this lighting setup and create different things that suit your model or suit whatever it is that you are going for, whatever you're shooting. The overhead lighting can be a really great way to create drama within a photo as well. It's something that I definitely want to use more often, although, balancing a light on a C stand can be a little bit worrying, so make sure you have all the right sandbags and stuff like that. But this is a really quick video. I just wanted to share this setup with you guys and these results that I've had recently, and hopefully you enjoy the photos and this serves as a little bit of inspiration for you today. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.